What's up, comic fans? It's time for that new comic book day haul plus review. So we're gonna go through the books I picked up this week. Plus we got 50 centers. I'm gonna show them all to you. We're gonna do it right after this.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Welcome back. All right, let's get into it. Let's do the 50 centers. I do like little themes, so this week is teams, Marvel teams, and we're going to start off with the New Warriors from the pages of X-Force, Gideon. We all know how well Gideon stuck. Anyway, this is New Warriors number 19. This is the first issue with Smiling Tiger. Right? There's a lot of firsts in the New Warriors, a lot of them just random characters that I haven't really seen that much, but who knows, maybe they'll show up again someday. They're not the superheroes for the 90s. The New Warriors. Night Thrasher joined the team. What is the Folding Circle? Alright, this is issue number 21. This is the first team appearance of the Folding Circle. Again, alright. Here we go. We got New Warriors number 27. This one is supposed to have some characters that look like the Simpsons in it. Let's see. Boom. So it's like the first real life Simpson looking characters in here. I think that panel is all we get. Maybe on the next page. Yeah, here we go. So that is New Warriors number 27. Has some Simpson-looking characters in there. Those are fun books to have. And then we have the New Warriors number 28, the first appearance of Turbo and Cardinal. All right. We won't end there. Usually I do about 4 or 5 books, but whatever. We'll do the all-new X-Men number 1. This is a wraparound cover. And this has the first Triage and Tempest in it. Then, what would be a team if we didn't have the new Fantastic Four? This is also a wraparound cover. And these are all 50 centers. So that's cool. And then last but not least, this was a pretty decent 50 cent find. You know, maybe a little pressing. I don't know if it'll be a 9.8, but could be a 9s. I don't know. This staple's a little screwed. Anyway, whatever. This is the Avengers number 35, and this is the first cover appearance of Sam Wilson, Captain America, and this, what is it? Iron Man, Superior Iron Man. There we go. It's like Supreme Iron Man. That doesn't make sense. But the Superior Iron Man. Boom, right on the cover. First covers of both. Yeah, staple's a little dinged. Well, whatever. Anyway, guys, those were the 50 centers. Now, let's do the books from this week. Alright, cool. First thing off the list is Chip Zdarsky did a comic newsletter. So this was pretty fun. Go see if your LCS still has them. Pretty fun thing. Kind of selling Chip Zdarsky's wares. Yeah, Chip Zdarsky, I guess, has enough money to print his own stuff. That's cool. This is from last week, so like 2 weeks ago, not this past week, but this is the Amazing Spider-Man number 53. I just forgot to read it, so I ended up reading it this week. Not bad, actually. It's really cool. It pulled me back in. Just when ASM thought it's going to lose me, pulled me back in. There was a couple of red herrings, which then were more red herrings, so I don't know. It was cool. Cool read. It was a good read. If you haven't been reading it, basically Norman Osborn has returned as the Goblin. He's kind of turned Peter into a goblin himself. And there's like this sin-eating staff that was owned by Craven. And he tricks Peter into using it on him so that the sins could be released from Norman and now transferred to Peter. So we're going to see what those goblin sins are going to do to Peter Parker. This is Ultimate X-Men number 4. This is the variant edition. Trying to catch up on the Ultimate X-Men. This is from a couple of weeks ago as well. Really good. I think it's a good story. I like the art. I like the story. It is a little slow. People are saying it's slow. It's a different style of art, different style of storytelling with Peach. I believe this is the first. I don't know who's on the cover, honestly. But it's interesting. But in this book, Armor's powers become more prevalent. She's getting stalked by this like Shadow King creature. And then we read this week's Ultimate X-Men number 5. We got the A cover. Good story. And in this one, they're gonna form that X-Men team. All right. So we're finally getting the formation of some form of an X team in issue number 5 of Ultimate X-Men. And at this point, it's got Mariko Monroe, right? Armor, and then Maystorm. So there's three people on the team right now, and there should be some others that'll join. I think the question they pose is, are they mutants? Do they have powers? Well, I guess we'll find out. Staying with Marvel, we have the Immortal Thor number 1. This was written by Al Ewing. This is part of the Infinity Watch saga. It's an interesting story. The Power Stone is out there. It's free. This guy's name goes from, I forget. He goes to he actually names himself Power Stone at one point. So he's literally naming himself after the stone itself, and changes his name to Apex by the end of it. But Thor is trying to get this power because the gates of Utgard have been opened, right, by Gaia, and he's barely been able to defeat these gods. So he's like, I need the power stone. Ends up bringing this guy to Earth. He's now in New York. So we'll see what kind of calamity happens there, but that's probably going to tie into the Immortal Thor comic. We got Blood Hunters. All right, this is the B cover. This is all kind of wrapping up or growing into, it's not wrapping up because it's growing into a spin-off where they're actually going to do a Blood Hunters series that just, keeps going. Hallows Eve will be part of the team along with Dagger, what's her face, Elsa Bloodstone, and White Widow, all part of the team. So seems like an interesting team. Then we also have Satana handling some vampires at her club. It's a good story. All right, we have the Incredible Hulk number 14. If you're into horror, really horrific Hulk mindscape, bodies, horror, just ghouls and goblins, it's got all that. It's got all that and more. And it's got part 1 of Weapon Extraction, a Wolverine and Deadpool story that seems to be happening with some portals that are pulling them into, I think, different dimensions. But yeah, Hulk and Bruce both want to save this little girl in the book whose soul's pretty much been trapped inside of an ivory doll figure. The only problem is Bruce and the Hulk can't get along. So not only are they trying to fight all these monsters and demons, but they're fighting each other, mostly in the head. But it's a really good story. If you like monsters and you like the Hulk, you have that. Pass of Darkness, Star Wars number 48. All right, I think this is gonna lead to Luke. I can't always do that. To Luke Skywalker joining the dark side. That kind of seems to be what's happening here. But we have Leia going to check on us. Basically what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a small armada. I guess armada can't be small, right? It's like a cavalcade of ships, and the Republic or the Resistance has lost contact with them. And so some of the ships, though, are military. So that kind of falls under Leia's purview. So she kind of makes a trip. Also, they're survivors from Alderaan, which, you know, was blown up by the Death Star. And so they go to find it. They find one ship. They get trapped on the ship. And Luke's left on the ship and it explodes. Boom! So I think that's what's going to happen with Luke. He's probably going to end up with some kind of amnesia. You know, they're going to find him. They're going to turn him into a bad guy. And then eventually he'll get his mind right. He'll be back to the good side. But I think that's what they're going to do with this book. All right, we're moving on to the indies. Let's go. Destro number 1. I didn't get to read it. Why not? Sorry, Destro number 2. There seems to be an error. Like, the pages are stuck together. So I could rip the pages apart, but I'm not the kind of guy who wants to, like, destroy books. So I pulled it about as far apart as I could. I guess if I really wanted to, I could just rip it in half. But some of these pages are, I don't know, it just wasn't cut right. So didn't get to read Destro number 2. I'll probably just bring it back to the shop. I'll have them, you know, put this in as a damage book, and I will get a new one. Undiscovered Country number 30. I'm like 20 issues behind on this, so I can't even talk about it. But, you know, we have a group of people who sneak into America after it's closed itself off to the walls, and there's all sorts of weird stuff happening in there, including time just not working the way it should, and people aging quicker, or science things run by, I don't know, bioorganics thing. I don't know. Just, it was weird. And still, I still got it. Probably because it's Snyder on there, Scott Snyder. I'd like me some Scott Snyder. We have Misery, number 2 of 4. Not quite sure what I think about this book. I think the writing's okay. McFarlane's on there writing it, which, you know, it's a little too on the nose at points, but for McFarlane, I feel like it's not too bad. But you have this character who just kind of, every time she touches somebody, it's kind of like the penance stare with the ghostwriter. They feel the pain of everything wrong that they've done, but she also feels it. So we'll see where Misery goes from here. There's only 2 more issues, so I don't know, maybe there's a spin-off or something. We had Rat City number 4. All right, Peter Cairn is starting to learn how to use his powers, right? And not even use it. It's kind of like he's on auto drive, right? Autopilot. Every time the suit, every time he's in danger, the suit kind of does what it needs to do for him. So that's fun. All right, we're going to switch gears now, and we're heading to DC. We got a David Nakayama cover. Pretty cool cover. This is Catwoman 67. Pretty gritty kitty committee in tricky Gotham City. Right? Try saying that 5 times fast. Very cool concept. It started with a really cool concept, right? It appeared like Catwoman had a cat deity that gave her 9 lives, and then she decided to go do all these random things that she would have done because she probably would have died. And then it turns out that the meteor that kind of gave Vandal Savage his powers is a piece of it, or a meteor that was like that. A piece of it gets stuck in Catwoman's brain, and she's dying. It keeps bringing her back from death, but it's also slowly killing her, and she's basically at the moment or the point where she's about to die. And at the end of that issue, the Flamingo and Hush now have her, and it looks like Hush is about to do some surgery on her. For what purposes, I don't know. But the Flamingo, who's a cannibal in these comics, right, is like, I'm always up for a new pretty face. So, and you know Hush is, yeah, so we'll see what happens there. All right, last but not least, we have an Absolute Power tie-in. This is Superman number 16. When we last left Superman, he was shot and bleeding out and dying. In this one, we have Mr. Terrific operating on Superman. It just breaks your heart sometimes knowing who Superman was and what's happening in this book. And Superman is pretty much powerless, but he's got like a little suit on. They recruit Zatanna, not Satana, but Zatanna, to they don't recruit her, they actually save her. Mercy ends up saving her. That's Lex Luthor's right-hand woman, if you will, or right-hand man. But anyway, now they got Zatanna, who knows some magical stuff, so she's becoming part of the plan. So now it's not just superpowers, it's magic. That's also going to happen in this book. We find out Superman is healing, but he's still got some damage, so he's not 100%. And, excuse me, at LexCorp, or SuperCorp, actually now it's called SuperCorp, there's some like robot suits or mechanical suits that kind of help Supes out and give people power. So yeah, I think a lot of those people are going to end up in those suits, and that's going to be, you're going to have average Joes in these suits now, kind of helping the heroes whose powers have been taken to kind of save the day. So you can see how this is all panning out in absolute power, right? I think Amanda Waller has tried to save the people, but the people are going to save the superheroes. At least that's where it seems to be headed. All right, comic fans, that was my new comic book day haul with like a mini review. All right, and we had those 50 centers in there. If you like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Go ahead and throw me a thumbs up and comment down below. All right, do what you do. I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna get ready for this week's books. Deuces. Peace. We out. So every week when we do 50 centers, we have a theme, and this week's theme is going to be